We are back. It's Tinker Club. Leigh-Anne Nugent here with,
Micah Adler.
and here we go again. We are here to talk about what we're tinkering with and what we're finding as we are growing our businesses in this wonderful world of AI. And gosh, today we just talked about all of the updates that are happening with all of these agentic tools. Not only are new ones popping up, but all of these updates are coming out. Lovable has its agentic offering. Even Supabase has some updates themselves, new things popping up every day. We've got ChatGPT 5, which, I'm getting to, in honesty, a little bit of exhaustion. I don't know how people can stay on top of all of these developments and run their business or run their operations, lead their teams. I'm finding it quite overwhelming.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's so much stuff that's coming out and it's coming out very quickly. And the reality is there's a lot of hype and there's a lot like to learn. Like for example, if you gave a like in ChatGPT, if you gave some sort of like you wrote something yesterday with 4.0 and then you write the same thing today, you're going to get a completely different response. And like it's going to mess up your workflow. So it's really interesting how these changes affect us, and there's tons of them. So they're moving.
Exactly. The one thing too about that is that people are looking for more structured outcomes, right?
Yeah,
More structured responses or more predictable responses. Like we want the bot to respond this way. So then the question really is, then you're not looking for GPT. What you're looking for in automation, you're looking for a structured bot. So this overhype of we need to turn everything and make it agentic, what businesses are not really understanding is the unpredictability of the responses that you're going to get. Now, mind you, from a Salesforce perspective, it's not, they've figured out a way to make it a little bit more productive because the responses are Salesforce flows,
yeah,
right? Like, so which is structured automation, which gives you structured ways of testing and getting the results that you want, predictable responses. But yeah, people need to, I think people are starting to realize what you're really getting when you implement AI in your business, and and what you're really not getting, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
There's two really different models there. It's the Salesforce model is very structured and it's slow and a little bit of it's convoluted a bit. But at the same time, there's good security and it's going to do mostly what you want it to do. The issue, like I have in that situation, a lot of times with Agentforce, is that it's just convoluted. So it means that in order to do what you want to do, you have to go through many, many steps and configure it and do all this and that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you talk to ChatGPT and you say, hey, can you do this with the agent? It will just do it. The
Yeah.
question is when you have the changes in the models and different
Yes.
you know structures and new functionality that just keeps popping up, what exactly is it going to do? And
Correct. Because even Agent Force and all these other tools that are built on these LLMs, they have no real structured way of testing these models, and we have no idea what you're right. Like so, it's got to be continuous iteration. And so when you think about what is the total cost of ownership for managing these applications that rely on these LLMs, you need somebody full time to monitor what these outcomes are. And there could even be some things, if it's a customer external facing one, you have to think about some protocols that you have in place for anything that's risk I don't know what the right phrase is, that that's high risk. So if it's some sort of threat comes in, or somebody, a bad actor, right? Like any kind of scenarios, you have to think about all of the potential bad actors that could come in. And if you've got an agent having these conversations with a bad actor, what are those safety, security, risk protocols that you're putting into place? It's like, you know, I'm watching Foundation, and Demerzel has these rules that are written into her because she's a bot, right? A robot.
Yeah,
And oh, what is the word that she used? It's like it's not a protocol. There's an actual word that they use, and it's like these. It's the very first rule. Like I cannot hurt any humans. Like that's her first.
yeah.
It's like not derivative. What's the word that they use? Directive. Thank
It's a
you. My
direct.
husband is awesome. Thank you. Right. So you've got all these directives that you're putting in, which is no different. It's an instruction, right? So now you have to think about all the directives that you have to put in to structure your bot, and then test it and hope that you're going to get the right outcomes that you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was actually reading iRobot as well.
Oh
And
yeah,
there's the three directives.
that's
And then
it.
on top of that, I had read Foundation a long time ago, a long, long time ago. And yeah, so yeah, there's these things that you would expect it to do and not do bad, and like all these other things. And
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
So it's a different way of building. And yeah, now that we know, and we've lived with it for a few months now, right? In production environments, I'm seeing it on all of the shopping sites, and you know shopping malls. It's just now part of the tech stack, right? So but how
Yeah.
are you monitoring it? What does day in the life look like? How are you testing it and iterating on it? Because you will need something and someone to monitor it. And I guess you could have a bot monitor it, but I don't think that's going to work either. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
new
funny
jobs
'cause
popping up.
I've been asking the LLMs like GPT-5 and Grok, like, what is your directive? Like, and it actually says, is it the same as like what Isaac Asimov spelled out in iRobot? And they're like, no, it's not that. It's da 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 da. Da. And
Oh,
it's more flexible and more, it does this and that. So you can speak to these LLMs, and if they're telling you the truth, then, this is what their, guidelines are. So it's really interesting, but they're different for each one.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and which means that whatever you're building for, whatever model you're building for. And I did also notice too that when you are in Agent Force, they are now identifying which models are no longer supported. So
Mm.
you could build something on a model that's no longer supported because either it didn't satisfy the right security thresholds or accuracy thresholds that Salesforce would demand of any of the tools that we should and would build on. So I think that that's, yeah, again, something that you have to monitor, because these models get deprecated just as fast as they get created.
Yep. Yep. For sure. For sure. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, no.
All right. So
It-
what do you want to show today? What are you working on?
this quickly, I think I have two things that I was looking at over the weekend, like everybody else. I'll share my screen real quick. Just make sure it's the right screen. I think this is it. Do you see, Micah? What should we dive into today? Is that right?
No, I don't see any screen yet.
Oh, I need to share it. Sorry.
Yep.
Now?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll actually start here. This is
Okay.
ChatGPT 5. Everybody's talking about it. Some people are very irritated with it. Some people are very excited about it. And I'm like in between. So it's got some quirks. So this is one funny thing that I'm doing is I'm learning Spanish with ChatGPT, and basically what I told it is do not speak English, and then I'm gonna speak Spanish with you, and we're gonna learn it together. It's gonna be like immersion because that's the only way you can really learn from my
Yes.
experience to speak a language. So it's gonna be like Spanish immersion. So
Okay.
I have this folder where I gave it instructions like you're a Spanish teacher who only speaks in Spanish. And I've been going back and forth with it since July 26th. And I've learned a lot and it's improved a bunch. The funny thing is that like I just started a new conversation here like this. And so when I'm speaking to the folder, it speaks Spanish fluently and it's amazing and it does everything that I had requested it. And it has history of what that folder has. When I speak Spanish to it here, it sounds like a beginner. Like its pronunciation is horrible. It's
Really?
gracias. It's just like, it's so funny. And then I was like, hey, ChatGPT, your pronunciation is really bad. Like, what's going on? And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll improve over time. I'm not sure what's going on. It must be like something in the
Wow.
model. But and then I go back to the folder and it's
It's
fluent
perfectly
again.
fine.
So
Hmm.
that's kind of quirky, right? Yeah. So that's interesting. And what I found is when you're in a folder, it does things pretty amazing. So like I created a policy
Yep.
for utilizing AI, and it did a smashing job. It did an amazing job, and I was just like blown away.
Yep.
It better than anybody could do,
Mhm.
and that's where you say, okay, ChatGPT 5 is quite amazing, and it's on point. So like this kind of thing. One of the things they say about it. So like what we were just talking about. Uh, do you follow Asimov's three rules of robotics?
Okay.
And then what you'll see is, yeah, it's just quick. And you don't need to like jump between
Hmm.
types of things. It says, yeah, I don't follow Asimov's three rules of robotics. And this is kind of what I do. And it's pretty concise and it does a good
Yeah.
job of answering. So a lot of people say like it does a good job of answering, but it does
Yeah.
get confused. Drawing pictures and stuff, it still does get confused with like letters and
Yeah.
mixes things up and is a little bit difficult in that way. It does coding pretty well and you can, create some pretty neat things. I'm not going to do that here. So a lot of the functionality is the same, and some of it is degraded, and some of it is better. But
Yeah.
what I've found is like when you're creating, for example, an AI policy for an organization, to give it first, can I just have like some policy and then build it up to the organization that you're looking at? And then you can actually use the agent here, which is the
Hmm.
agent mode, to really do a crazy like deep dive into that and look at bunches of sources. Or you could do the deep research as well.
Right.
Deep researcher agent. So yeah, this is what I found for ChatGPT 5. It's good in a lot of ways, but it kind of falls off in others. So like,
Yeah. I definitely like it in a project. I played with it this morning, and
mhm.
I do like it in a project. And but then on the weekend, I was just randomly chatting with it, and I was like, yeah, mixed. I'm mixed on it. So
Yeah, the other thing I would recommend if you're using Cursor,
Yeah.
Do not enable it. That
Yeah. Well, I'm in my lovable environment. Actually, I built something on Claude yesterday, and I was pretty impressed with what it could do
Claude
and how it
4.1.
advised me. Yeah,
Yeah.
really
Claude,
impressed with it.
yeah. Claude is amazing. It works really well.
Yeah.
And it's consistent.
Yeah, and to the point where I was like, "Ooh, maybe I should just get some APIs." Like I had a use case where it was identifying which YouTube or TikTok challenges could ultimately lead to an ER visit and like
Hmm.
predicting what the likelihood of it and the type of injury and the doctor that would be involved. And it spun it up really quickly. I used some example data, but I needed to connect APIs and I never went that far. I just stuck with the mock data to just give an idea to a surgeon here in Toronto.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no. I found Claude to work really well. I jump back and forth because, it's expensive doing both at the same time sometimes.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The things start to add
Well,
up. But
I
I,
did end up paying for the monthly whatever for cloud because of the results that I got from this. I was so impressed with what it built.
yeah, no, Claude is super impressive and
Yeah.
what it holds is super impressive. Usually where I use it is through Cursor, and then
Okay.
but I don't really need to buy it separately.
Got it.
But I found that like there's use cases, and if they come up with a new feature, then I may drop some tokens in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I totally dropped them tokens.
The other thing I was going to talk quickly about is this. So this is Microsoft Copilot, and the next day after they dropped ChatGPT 5, they started Copilot, and then they added in, I think it doesn't show it here for some reason, but they added in, where is it? Oh, there it is. So Smart GPT
Great.
5,
Mhm.
yeah. And then Think Deeper, they're using GPT-5 in here, and they have this other thing called Actions,
Mhm.
which I believe is similar to Agent,
I think
but
so. Yeah.
it doesn't do as much.
And then, yeah. Okay.
So this is again where we come to like, oh, Salesforce, which is a very close ecosystem. And then Microsoft as well is a closed ecosystem. So there's more walled off data happening within Microsoft. So for example, if you go to Copilot within Google Doc, no, I'm sorry, within Microsoft Docs, you're going to get a version that's not going to speak to this version of Copilot.
Oh, I see. Hmm.
They're walled off. So therefore, what you get in ChatGPT, because you have this thing called memory, which is quite amazing, and it remembers who you are and everything that you say,
Mhm.
so that it can stay consistent with tasks. Microsoft doesn't do that. So like
Oh, I see.
I asked it a question, then I asked it a follow-up question, and you would expect it to sort of understand the context,
Yeah.
and
And
it loses
iterate.
it. Yeah.
Really? Even in the same chat?
Yeah, even in the same chat, which is very
Oh, it's like
surprising.
Dory.
So I was like,
Dory
oh.
the fish just forgets
It
what it
just
was talking
forget.
to about.
Yeah.
Weird. That's
So
that feels a little bit basic. So what is the idea that it's just like it's not meant to be a long running conversation. It's just meant to be a one and done type of thing?
I think it's not, I think it's meant to be able to continue on with the conversation, but because it's much more complicated than just ChatGPT, which is
Yeah.
the chat interface, this is Word, this is PowerPoint, this is Excel. It is cutting itself off, so the memory is not one full
Hmm.
memory.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and I believe they have workarounds to this, but right now, when I'm using it, just for the first time, that's one of the sort of things that I saw, which was really strange.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. So that's kind of where I am.
Very cool. Right. So that's a lot of fun that we have. And that's another Tinker Club today. And for today, and we will see you all next week. Thanks for
All right.
joining.